Yeah, hi guys. Please let me know if you can hear any of the people that I'm going to interview today. Okay, well, I think I want William to talk. So William, uh, I don't know. I don't see anyone
Hello.
who has. Yeah, William, you can hear me, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I don't see anyone who has joined the live. So let's wait for maybe a minute. As soon as I
Okay.
see someone join, I'll just let you talk so that the person can tell us if he or she can hear you. Okay.
Okay.
This thing is not supposed to be this hard. I just don't know why it's like that.
I
Uh,
can I can also hear Williams now, so I think when they come, they can hear him too.
okay.
Oh, okay.
So guys, can you hear William and Cletus? Okay, okay. I think they are saying it's good now. So that's yeah, we are good to go. Okay, that's fine. All right. So William, uh, let me just stick to the question I asked you before. Tell me about your program.
It's a 2 year master's. It's a 2 year professional master's degree that trains individuals to pursue a career in planning and policy making. That's urban planning and policy making, and it has several areas of concentration, which are grouped into larger topics. So where you can select your course, your elective courses from. So these areas we have social and economic equity, land environmental planning, land use and spatial planning, and urban design and development.
And why do you want to study this program?
It's so in my uh, during my undergraduate studies, I studied architecture during my undergraduate studies, and I took a course in an introduction course in theory in urban planning and design, which brought to light the deficiencies in my urban environments, that is Ghana, and this kind of sparked my interest to pursue a career in planning. That's an advanced degree in planning where I can work at the intersection of planning and architecture. So I'll combine both degrees to work on large scale urban planning projects in affordable housing and urban mobility.
Okay. And how do you about the school?
So I had I've been reading a lot of articles relating to the built environment, and I heard of them on from one um, from a publisher called Planetizen, where they were discussing the top 10 planning schools in the US, and UT Austin happened to be among these top ranked schools. They're also highly regarded in the top 20 schools within the built environment globally.
What is your current job?
I am working as an assistant architect with a private
How many schools do
firm
you
in
apply to?
Accra. I applied to three schools: UT Austin, MIT, and University of Buffalo.
Okay, why did you choose UT Austin?
UT Austin, they happen to have a strong program in affordable housing with some two of the professors who are working have their research on affordable housing in the global south, and I was eager to learn from them since that I am from the global south. That is, our country falls in the global south,
Who
and
is sponsoring
they
your
will understand
studies?
the dynamics. So I received 11,000 recruitment funding from the School of Architecture at UT Austin, and which is given to the top 10% of the admitted applicants in each discipline within the school. And then the remainder will be sponsored by some members of my family. One being my cousin, who is an optometrist and is currently running his own eye clinic in Zimbabwe. He's and then the second person is my aunt, who is She's a registered nurse and a midwife, and also a, a portfolio landlord in the UK. She also has two rental properties here in Ghana.
So two sponsors, right?
Yes,
Okay, I thought you meant several sponsors. Okay. Okay. And
three sponsors, and the aside the school, two
okay.
sponsors. So in all,
Okay.
three funding sources.
Okay. Uh, do you know anyone in the US?
I have an uncle in the US. He's in Maryland.
Okay. And what are your plans after your studies?
I plan to come back to write my professional practice examination with the Ghana Institute of Architects on July 2026. After which I would assume a role of project architect, and then I would also apply I also make use of my degree to handle large scale projects. So we can now have someone who will be able to help us. That will be me who will be able to help the company bid for large scale projects.
Okay. Did you apply to other countries?
No, just US.
So why the US?
I happen to find the application process um more how I would say it's more understandable. We have information readily available to apply to to schools in the US, and obviously we all know US is has a lot of highly ranked institutions due to um, research funding. So I felt it would be right to go to school in the United States.
Okay. So are you ready? So, excuse me. Are you ready for my feedback?
Yes, yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Hmm. When I asked you, I don't know if you, I don't remember if you mentioned it the second time, but when I asked you, tell me about the program, you, I don't know if it's this time, but when I asked you, I think the first time you said one is, if you decide to do research, then it's 54 credits. If you decide not to do research, it's
Yeah,
for 40
48
credit,
credits and 50
48
credits.
credit. So what are you going to do? You have to stick to what you are going to do, what you want to do, right? Because you don't have time to kind of talk about the difference. That's not the point. You just have to go straight to the point. What are you going to do, right? So just that's what I thought
Okay.
about that. And I would like you to, if I ask you why do you want to study, tell me about the economics program, right? Tell me about the program. I expect you to start by saying the economics program is a 2-year program. So I want to hear the name of the program,
The name,
even
okay.
though it's on the I-20. But when if something is on the I-20, you don't assume that the visa officer has seen it and so it's okay to skip it. That's my thing, because I feel like, I mean, your sponsor, it's obviously on the I-20, right? But the visa officer will ask you more
Yeah.
about it. So I always think you always have to, you know, eh, talk about what you are what is what like talk about the name of the program, right? Before you uh tell me more about it. When I asked you why do you want to study the program, you said you took a class during your undergraduate studies, and uh it's opened your eyes to the deficiencies in Ghana's I don't know, housing or something.
Urban.
um I would have liked to hear uh you say it is, maybe it is a problem that you are interested in, that you want to solve or something. I want to hear you say you want to solve the problem, because I when I hear something, I'm like, okay, okay, it makes sense, and yeah, I feel like architecture and urban planning, they are just the same, right? They are similar, very similar, they are closely
Yeah,
related.
very similar.
Yeah, so you don't really have to distinguish between uh I'm not too sure if you really have to, you know, say you took a class in architecture and that is why you want to pursue this urban planning thing. Because if you do that, it's like you are opening the eyes of the resource officer that the two are different, but they're actually the same. Nobody will even see that they are different, right? So I just think if you can just um and also I didn't hear you talk about exactly what you are going to learn from the program. What would the program teach you? I didn't hear anything like that. So normally you have to start with your background. I have a bachelor's degree in architecture, and I currently work as this. This program is going to equip me with this and this and this, and and or maybe I've seen the deficiencies in Ghana's or during my undergraduate studies. Uh, be, I got factual evidence about the deficiencies in, because I mean if you live in Ghana you obviously see the issues, right? But this one is more like from a data point of
A
view, right?
technical point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's like you have seen it, and so it is a problem that you have so much interested in, you like interested, and you want to solve. You want to solve that problem, and that is why you want to pursue this degree. And this program is going to teach you this and this and this, which when you return to your home country, you are going to use these skills to solve the problem and stuff. Like I mean, when I hear answers like, I feel like okay, this connects very well, and it makes a lot of sense. The goal is to connect your past, your present, and your future. That helps a lot. And when I ask you how many schools you apply to, you mentioned the three schools. Normally, it is better if you can say, if you can mention, if you can explain why you choose one over the other ones. I feel that that actually helps. That is much better in my opinion. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, don't just say one or two or three, and no, you have to mention the names of the schools, and then whether you got admission into all of them and why you chose one over the others. And you mentioned earlier that in the article the school was among the top 10, so that can be one of the reasons why you chose that over the other ones. And then you mentioned the research area, which all makes sense to me, right? um
Yeah.
when I asked you why the US, you said the application process was, I don't know, fairly easy or something like that. That's not a good motivation to go to a country, in my opinion. If you want to go to a country to study, you have to have a better motivation. The US is known for, I don't know, high rise buildings and, like complex buildings, like you can mention, I don't know, I feel like you can actually explain that better, from
Okay.
because they are, yeah, in terms of architecture, most of the people who built the most beautiful buildings in the world are actually from the US. Like all these things can actually, I don't know,
Yeah.
help your case.
Okay. Okay.
When I ask you who is sponsoring you, you have a scholarship of 11,000 and a deficit of 32,000. I will prefer you go straight to the point in terms of who is sponsoring the deficit, because you have a deficit which is very huge. Like it's more than the scholarship. The scholarship is not big enough to waste time on that. 11,000,
Yeah.
saying the 11,000 is based on, is given to the top 10. I am not convinced by that. I would think you are lying, because
Okay.
if a school is trying to give a scholarship to the top 10 students, like 10% of the students or something, that money has to be a lot, like at least more than 50%. I don't know if this is
Mm.
true or you pick the answer from somewhere, but always try to stick to your
No, it's
story.
it's true.
It's true, okay. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I would prefer you talk about your sponsors before you talk about the scholarship if you are given the time, because
Okay.
you have to remember that the scholarship will also be on the I-20, right? The visa officer may ask you
Yeah.
about it, but even though it is on the, so my point is that they will still see it, right? So even though
Yeah.
sometimes, even if they have seen something, they still want you to say it to show that you actually know about it. But you have to start with the other ones first, which is your deficit, how you are going to cover it. And I feel like your sponsors are credible sponsors, in my opinion. So it's all about you being able to say it well, and you have to understand that the visa officer may ask you questions about your sponsors, like how many cases do they have, and how many years have they been in the UK, and the other country, was it Rwanda or something,
As in Africa, no Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe, yeah, how many years have they been there, and like a few things about them to show that you actually know these people very well. But for me, I think they are credible sponsors. Okay, so yeah, if you're able to explain yourself very well, I think you have a good chance. Okay, and
Okay.
yeah, when your plans after your studies, you say you're coming back to write an exam, and then but I would have
Yeah.
preferred to hear you talk about what the program is going to teach you, so that and how those things are going to relate to the problems you are trying to solve, like when you return to your home country. I think that will make much more sense. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so
It does.
that is what I have for you. Do you have any question?
Um. No question card. No. No
All
question.
right, all right. So yeah, I wish you the best. If you can work on your answers and then explain your finances, right? Because I feel like your sponsors are credible to me, but it's about
Okay.
being able to, you know express it well. You have to know everything about your, like, every financial detail of your sponsor to show that they actually are willing to sponsor you, right? So that's
Yeah.
what I want you to work on, and I think it should be fine. I
Okay.
feel like, yeah, if you can explain yourself very well, I mean, I think it should be fine. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, where are you going for your interview? Is it in Ghana or another
Yeah.
country?
In Ghana.
In Ghana,
In
okay.
Ghana.
All right. All the best to you.
Thanks.
All right. Harriet, are you there? Yeah, yeah, there, right? Okay. Yes, I can hear you. No, you don't need to show your camera. You just turn it off. It's off, right? It's off now, right? Okay. Okay, cool. All right, Harriet, where are you going?
I'm going to the Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, to pursue a 2-year master's degree program in nutrition and dietetics.
Okay. Yeah, hold on. So, those of you watching, this thing is live, and I don't have some details about these people, and I try to make sense out of what they tell me, right? But then I can miss some things, some important things that they say, some mistakes and all of that. So if I miss out on something, just leave it in the chat so that I can read it out to them so that they can work on it, because yeah, I mean, I can, uh miss some few things. So please, yeah, also tell me where you are watching this from. It is very important to me. I like to know, where you are watching this from. And when I get the time, I will go through all the chat and try to answer your questions as well. All right, Harriet. Yeah. Did you finish
Hello?
your? Yeah. Did you finish your answer?
No,
Okay.
no.
You can start again, please. Sorry about that.
Okay, so I'm going to the Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, to pursue a 2-year master's degree program in nutrition and dietetics. The curriculum of the nutrition and dietetics master's degree program will help me achieve my career goal, which is to become a registered dietitian in the future. The program will also help me broaden my knowledge and experience and skills in the different fields in nutrition, including sports nutrition, community nutrition, and the food service nutrition. The program will also helped me gain the eligibility to pursue my career, a career as a registered dietitian, which upon returning to Ghana, I will collaborate with other registered dietitians and health professionals to organize community health outreach,
What
mostly in the rural areas.
What is your current job?
I'm currently a national service person at the University of Ghana as a teaching and research assistant. So my roles include teaching courses related to nutrition to final year students, and also assist final year
Mm,
students with their research project.
okay. Um. Yeah. Okay. How do you have at the school?
Okay, I heard about Southern Illinois University Edwardsville during a study abroad fair that was organized at the University of Ghana. And SIUE was one of the schools that were mentioned to us. And I went to their website and I realized that they offer nutrition and dietetics master's degree program, which is the degree I've always wanted to pursue in future.
How many schools do you apply to?
I applied to two schools, namely Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, and Illinois State University. I chose to attend Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville due to the unique structure of the Nutrition and Dietetics Master's Degree program. So, with respect to the practical aspect of the program, Southern Illinois University allows students to explore other areas in nutrition other than the usual clinical or the hospital setting. These include sports nutrition, community nutrition, and food service nutrition. This will broaden my knowledge and skills and experience in the different aspects of nutrition.
Okay. And do you have any relative in the US?
No, please, I do not have any relative in the US.
Okay. And have you traveled outside your home country?
No, please, I haven't.
All right. Who is sponsoring your studies?
Okay, my uncle will be sponsoring my studies. So my uncle is a chartered accountant for the past 15 years, and he works with a construction company called Construction Ambassadors Limited, which is in Ghana. He also worked with a financial organization called Modern Consortium Limited. They provide financial services to businesses and entrepreneurs, including project management, project financing, and he earns an annual income over 960,000 Ghana cedis, which is an equivalent of 60,000 dollars.
Hello,
And
Harriet. Your line
the
is breaking.
monthly salary. Hello,
Harriet.
please, can you hear me?
Yeah. Your line was breaking. Can you take that again?
Okay, so my uncle will be sponsoring my education. My uncle is a chartered accountant for the past 15 years, and he works with a construction company called
I don't
Construction
know why the network behaves like
Ambassadors.
that when you are in the middle of your answer. Um.
Please, she still can't hear me.
Yeah. Let's try again.
Okay, my uncle will be sponsoring my education. My uncle is a chartered accountant for the past 15 years, and he works with a construction company called Construction Ambassadors Limited, which is in Ghana. He also worked with an organization called Modern Consortium Limited. So they provide financial services such as project finance and project venture to businesses and entrepreneurs.
Is he
He earns an
married?
annual income.
Is he married?
Yes, please, he's married
And how many kids
with a
does he
child.
have?
A daughter, one daughter, who is
How
currently working.
he has a
She's
daughter
25
who he has a daughter who is
years.
working, who is
Yes,
already working.
yes.
And why is your uncle sponsoring your studies?
Okay, my uncle always talks about how the benevolence of others has helped him achieve his career aspirations. He sponsored my undergraduate studies when my mom couldn't work due to a chronic condition she had. He believes in my intelligence and my potentials, and he believes that sponsoring my education will not only help me achieve my career aspirations, but will also help raise generations of intellectuals within our family.
What is your GPA?
So I have a GPA of 3.58 on a 4.0 scale from the University of Ghana with my undergraduate studies, which is family and consumer sciences.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I feel like overall, like you are clear. You have a background in nutrition and your ITA and all those things. So what are your plans after your studies?
Okay, so after completing my studies, I returned to Ghana to sit for my registered dietitian license exam, which will help me gain the eligibility to become a registered dietitian. And then, based on the knowledge and the skills I have gained from Southern Illinois University, I will collaborate with other registered dietitians and health professionals to organize community health outreach to the vulnerable people within the society in Ghana in order to help provide nutritional support to help prevent nutrient-related diseases in Ghana, including malnutrition. And in the long term, I hope I intend to set up a sports and nutrition wellness center to provide nutrition support to athletes of all ages in order to help improve upon their performances.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, my you have a good GPA, which is actually good. But the only thing is, your uncle sponsoring you. That's my only concern with you. That's like my main concern. The fact that your
Okay.
uncle is the one sponsoring you, because um you are going to spend 2 years in the US, and your uncle taking all the responsibility is something which is not always easy for the visa officer to believe an applicant. So that's my thing. And his job doesn't sound like somebody who is credible enough. When I say credible means, the person's job and income, like the fact that they match, and the person can actually the person actually makes enough to be able to take care of your studies and all of that. So I feel like an accountant, a chartered accountant. I'm not too sure the person will be able to take care of the deficit the way, because the way you judge somebody's finances is, if the person has made so much, then the person should have other businesses. That's how I judge somebody's finances. So I'm not too sure the person being an accountant is makes the person credible enough. That's my main issue, with this.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, it's on a good day, the visa officer may believe you but normally, an uncle taking care of everything, like the financial responsibility uh of an applicant, is always something that you cannot easily justify. I mean, because it's not like your father or your mother, that would have been different, or even your elder brother. Then those ones. But when it's an uncle like that, it's like anybody can present anybody and say this person is my uncle. So what shows that the person is really, really your uncle? So that's where the issue is. But yeah, if you can sound convincing, and then if the visa officer believes you, then that's fine. But I also was thinking, maybe you say you wanna return, and I don't know, be in the academia or something. But given the fact that you are a teaching assistant, I
No.
was thinking maybe you want to be in academia. But I mean, that is not whatever you want to be. That's something you have to go with. So yeah,
Okay.
it's about your finances mainly. Based on everything, I feel like it's mainly your finances. So if you can work out, if you can, I mean, I just don't think a chartered accountant who is doing two jobs, I don't, none of the jobs are his. It's like he's working for others. Two different jobs. Normally you do two jobs for others when you don't have enough for yourself, right? Because you can have two companies, then it means, okay, then the person can be credible. But if you're actually working multiple jobs, that is not somebody who can actually fund somebody's education in the US. I don't think. So for me, I think you have to check your sponsor. Okay, that's the main thing I will tell you. Okay, do you have any
Okay.
question?
Yes. I wanted to find out if
Okay.
the person who is sponsoring me is actually my elder brother, but he's in Switzerland. Like he's not in Ghana at the moment, so he couldn't get me his bank statements, and I actually didn't get. I didn't. I used my mother's friend's bank statement
Yeah.
for
So
to apply for my school and everything.
yeah.
So and he's a chartered accountant. Like for the past 15 years at both of the companies that I mentioned earlier. But
That
I don't know
that
whether I should just say he owns an automotive service company or something, just to add it up.
I cannot really suggest when it comes to finances. It's when I'm coaching students, the only place that it's difficult for me to help a student is the finances. Whoever you present to
Okay.
me, I can tell you this is credible, this is not credible, but I cannot tell you to choose somebody. I don't know anybody, I don't know all these things very well. Like it's not something that I can. So the finances is the biggest challenge when it comes to coaching people. And the same way for you. Um if your elder brother cannot give you the bank statements, then what shows that he can actually sponsor your studies? What shows that he has the money? Because everybody who has the
No, he
money,
has the money, but he couldn't get me the bank statements when I needed it
how
at the moment.
if I were you, and then I was telling you who is now me this story, will you believe me? I don't think so, right? Because if he has the money should be in his account. If he doesn't have it in account, then he doesn't have it. That's how I will interpret it. I could be wrong, but so I am not here to make somebody laugh, or I am not here to make you feel good about your story and all of that. No, for me, if it's not right, I'll tell you, no, this doesn't sound right to me, right? And so it doesn't sound right to me. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not here
Okay,
to, patronize anybody. I have to just tell you the way it is, the way I feel about it. And like I always say, I can also be wrong. So, but I have to tell you what I think about it. So
okay,
I don't really, yeah, I think you have to check who is sponsoring you. That's the main thing right now. So
okay,
yeah, and also, like, you not wanting to be in academia. I don't know. Maybe if you volunteer as well as working as a TA. I don't know. Because normally you become a TA if you want to be in academia, right? Normal, that's a normal thing. But if not, then maybe you do some part time work somewhere, which that would have actually helped you. But kind of, make your case stronger. But I mean, it's still
okay,
fine. You can still, yeah. So I wish you the best. Okay.
okay. Thank you.
All right. No problem.
Please, one more question.
All right.
So I actually did my internship at the nutrition clinic at the various hospitals, like during my undergraduate studies. But you can't do your national service there if you don't have a bachelor's degree in nutrition and dietetics. I don't know whether you get what I'm trying to say.
Not
So
really.
I think I since you said if you become a teaching and or if you are working as a teaching and research assistant in a particular university, definitely when you want to pursue a program, you have to come back to become maybe a lecturer or whatsoever. But I'm trying to say that with my case, I don't have a bachelor's degree in nutrition and dietetics. I did family and consumer science, and as part of the program, I completed
Oh,
courses in
so
nutrition, credit courses
oh,
in
so
nutrition.
so you did, okay, family.
I think I mentioned it earlier, but
Okay,
I don't know.
I missed it.
Yes.
I missed it because it's not easy to remember everything. Okay, I see. Well,
So
mm,
wait, I can't do my national service as at these nutrition clinic if I don't have the
no,
background of
what I am saying is, given the fact that you are interested in nutrition, because normally I like students to go through the linear process. So it's like, from you do the same thing throughout. Ideally, like, that makes it easy for you to be believed, right? But in your case, why have you suddenly decided not to continue with the family stuff and you want to do nutrition?
Okay, because as part of the family and consumer sciences studies, you have to complete courses in nutrition and food. And I became very passionate and curious about things pertaining to nutrition, and I then decided to become a registered dietitian.
So how do you justify passion in something when you have, because while you work as a teaching assistant,
Mm,
you could be taking you could decide to work as a volunteer somewhere without even taking any pay, like as a volunteer, just because you are passionate about it, for you to assess yourself if you truly want to pursue this, like if this is a career you
yeah,
want to pursue.
I've done
It
that.
is,
I've done several volunteer works.
yeah, normally that can actually, well, yeah, I mean, we can go on and on and on, but yeah, I feel like your main thing is your finances, so you try to
Okay,
work on that. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's
Thank
what I
you.
think. Yeah, you're welcome. Um, all right. Cletus, are you there?
Yes,
Cletus,
I'm here.
Cletus, are you there?
Yes,
Cletus, what
yes.
about Zainab?
I can.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, then let's go with Zainab. Um, okay. All right, Zainab, doing your studies.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Who is sponsoring your studies?
My employer will be sponsoring for my year program at Seattle University in Seattle, Washington, to study accounting and physics. I completed my bachelor's in science in accountancy at the University of the Gambia last year, 2023.
Can you speak out a
So I
little bit,
wanted
please?
to
Can you speak out a little bit?
my education to develop my career.
Hello, can you speak out a little bit? I'm struggling to hear you.
Yeah, are you getting me now?
Yeah. So you said yeah. So go on. You
Oh,
you don't have to start. You can just
okay.
go
Can
on.
you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Hello.
Education. So
Hello.
my bachelor's in yeah, hello.
Yeah. I think
Hello, are you getting me?
yeah, I can hear you now. I think it's better for you to start all over. Can you start? Who is sponsoring you? Can you answer it again?
Oh, yes. I said my employer will be sponsoring my 2 year studies at Seattle University in Seattle, Washington, to
Okay.
study major in management science and quantitative method with a concentration in accounting and analytics. I completed my Bachelor of Science in Accountancy last year, May 2023. So I wanted to further my career in the field of accounting,
Do you have any relative in the
not
US?
only in accounting this time around. So no, I do not have US.
Uh, did you get any scholarship?
Yes, I got 4,800 scholarship from University of
How did
Seattle.
you hear about the school?
Yes, after completing my bachelor's last year, I wanted to further my education, so I did some research about the universities in the US. So I come across two universities, that is Seattle University and New Haven University. They got my attention, so I applied to the two universities, and I got admitted to the two universities.
So
And then
Why
I later
Seattle
settled
University?
down for Seattle. Yes, I settled down for them because of their unique course curriculum. Um, During my second semester, I will be doing a course like practicum, where accounting students are teamed up with representatives from the United Way of King County, and
Your line is
then
breaking. Hmm.
apply uh, their skills that they learn to help client file for their tax return. My employer, normally every year we outsource our tax. We outsource our tax to external consultants. They do file our taxes for us and we pay them. But I feel like if I did this course, my employer would not pay the outside consultant to file our taxes for us. I will be able to do it for my employer. So this course caught my attention, and then also at Seattle University, students are exposed to mentorship where they met one to one to help them make financial decisions.
Your line has just
All
been
those got my
breaking, but
attention about Seattle University. That is why I
hello.
later settled down for them.
Yeah, your line has been breaking a lot, but I have a fair idea of what you were trying to say. But let me ask you this: why do you want to study accounting?
Hello, are you getting me?
Yeah, what I kind of missed some things, but I have a fair idea of what you are trying to say. But why do you want to study accounting? Hello, why do you want to study accounting?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, why do you want to study accounting?
Oh,
Hello,
I, I wanted to study accounting because I have always been passionate about accounting. I got the inspiration from my late. Okay.
hello. Yeah, I mean,
I, I
I
wanted to study accounting
okay.
because I've always been yes,
Uh,
yes. Are you getting me
struggling,
now?
struggling. The network is very bad. I
Yes, I wanted
just
to study accounting because I've already always been passionate about accounting. My late dad was an accountant, so I got the inspiration from him to study. Um, hello,
yeah, go on.
maybe it's the network getting you.
Yeah, go on. You can continue.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, let me just tell you what I think so far. Okay. Um, now you are being you. I hope you can hear me though. If not, you can just watch this
Hello.
again. So
Yes, I.
so my feedback so far is that your story is not well connected.
Are you getting me?
You have to connect your story well. Um, if your employer is sponsoring you, why is your employer sponsoring you? What are you currently doing for your employer? What is the name of the company?
Are you getting me?
Let me just mute you because so that you can just watch this back because I cannot really hear anything from you and
Yes,
it's
as I
just
was saying, I have always.
uh Zainabu, if you can hear me, just listen to my feedback, okay? Because I think I've heard enough, okay, and I kind of have an idea of what to tell you, okay? Does that make sense? So if you can just listen to what I'm going to say, and then if it makes sense to you, then you can work
Mhm.
on it. If it doesn't make sense to you, you can just put it aside, okay? All right. So what I want to tell you is that is not your story is not connecting well. Why is your employer sponsoring you? You just started by saying your
Okay.
employer will be sponsoring your studies, and after you said your employer is sponsoring your studies, you started talking about you have a bachelor's degree in accounting. No, that's not how to answer this question.
Yes. Yes.
You have to if you have to say what you are currently doing, where you are currently working, what you
Okay.
currently do, what your employer, who your employer is, and why they are sponsoring you. That is what this question is about. It has nothing to do with your bachelor's degree and stuff like that. It's about what you do for the company. Why did they want to sponsor you? And when I asked you why this school, you
Mm.
actually mentioned some good points which you
Mm.
could have mentioned them elsewhere, but you so your answers are not well connected. Like you mentioned the fact that your company outsource from other companies to help them file their taxes. This is a good reason why your company is sponsoring you. You can craft the story very well around this thing, not for you to be talking about, you know, your bachelor's degree stuff. Does that make sense? So for you, the main thing is your story. Your story, connect your story well. Does that make sense? Why is your company sponsoring you? Why do you want to study the program? Okay.
Yes.
Hello. And when I asked you why do you want to study the program, you could have still brought in the fact that your company currently outsources
Yes.
other companies to help them with their taxes and all of that. So all of these things can come into the answer. But you are just they are just not connected well. So that's what I can tell you. Okay, I hope you understand my point. And
Okay.
actually, I have a video. I think I have two videos where the people I coached used employer sponsorship. So you can look at their answers, the answers that they crafted, and that can make a lot of sense to you. But these answers, they are not strong enough. You have to The visa officer has to know why your employer wants to sponsor you when you are asked who is sponsoring your studies, or when you are asked why you want to study the program. You can fit this there. Okay, so I wish you the best. I don't know, I'm not sure you
Okay.
can.
Okay.
Yeah, do you have any question? Do you have any question? Okay. Well, Cletus, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
All right.
finally. All right. So
Uh,
Cletus,
I'll do my best. Thank
all
you.
right, no problem. All the best to you. All right. So Cletus,
For now, no.
okay, Cletus, where are you going?
So I am going to the US to pursue masters in adult health nursing in the University of Rio Grande. This masters will equip me with the necessary theoretical knowledge and the clinical judgment skills so that when I return to my home country, I can provide and implement policies to raise the standard of nursing care, especially to the aged.
Okay. How do you about the school?
So I did a thorough research and I Googled schools that offer adult health nursing in the US. And I saw University of Rio Grande where I went to their website and I realized they have extensive curriculum and I chose it.
Okay. Um, how many schools do you apply to?
I applied to two schools, namely Lower State University and University of Rio Grande. But I chose University of Rio Grande because it is located in a welcoming state of Ohio, and also the class size is small, which will allow me to connect with my professors well and understand whatever they teach.
Okay. And who is sponsoring your studies?
So I have been awarded a merit-based scholarship, which will cover my tuition fee, housing fee, and also stipends for books. The rest of my living expenses will be taken care from my personal savings, from my work as a registered nurse for the past 5 years, and also the proceeds from my medical equipment business. I earn an average income of 66,000 Ghana cedis.
Hold on. Can you tell me again? Sorry, I missed. Can you tell me who is sponsoring your studies?
Okay, so I have been awarded a merit-based scholarship, which will cover my tuition fee, housing fee, and also stipends for books. The rest of my living expenses will be taken care from my personal savings, from my work as a registered nurse for the past 5 years, and also the proceeds from my medical equipment business. I earn an average income of 66,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay. Have you traveled outside your home country before?
No, this will be the first time.
Okay. And do you know anyone in the US?
No, all my family lives in Ghana.
Okay. And what are your plans after your studies?
So after my studies, I plan to return to my current place of work where I'll provide and implement policies that will raise the standard of nursing care. Also, I have a long-term plan of establishing a care home where I can take care of the aged and raise their standard of living.
What is your current job?
I currently work as a registered general nurse where I assess patient health problems, plan and implement interventions, and also evaluate these interventions. Some of these interventions include checking vital signs, administration of medication, wound dressing, and sample collection.
Okay. Well, so this is what I think. Okay, you have a good scholarship, right? Which kind of takes care of a lot of things. But then why don't you, the thing about finances is that the visa officer expects you to know about your finances, right? About how much the scholarship is, about how much the deficit is. So you could have, you said you have a merit-based scholarship of how much. You didn't tell me how much that is, and you didn't tell me um how much your deficit is, right? You are using your personal funds, right? Personal funds, uh the personal funds here, because you are sponsoring your studies, it is not about your average income, it is about what you have in your savings, because once you leave, you are not going to earn income again. It is strictly based on your savings. So how much do you have in your savings? That's what you talk about, right? So that's what I thought about that. And you say you currently work as a registered nurse. I know this, you don't have to reveal everything, but you could have said at ABC company or something, or ABC hospital, because I have to know where it is, to these are little things that kind of shows that you are being truthful, right? Because you are referring to a particular place that you work, so it makes it like it's more like you are being specific about the place rather than just saying anything else. That I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. Yeah, yeah. Do you understand? And also, you said the program will help you implement policies when you return. Is the program about? Is it about policy making? This one I don't know. I'm just asking. Is it about policy making? Because
It's about advanced nursing, so it includes leadership and um, policy making.
yeah, so if you had mentioned the fact that you will learn policy making and leadership from the program, then I will know that, okay, when you come back and you are coming to implement policies, then that will be clear enough to me. But I didn't hear you talk about what you are going to learn from the program, so then I was confused about that. Okay, and then you said
Yeah.
you did your research on the program, and then you chose it because you did the research. You say you did the research on the program, and then you you kind of liked it or something, right?
Yes.
So you chose it. Uh, Normally, you should be able to be clear enough about why exactly you chose it. So you came across it, you did your research, and then you have to say, I did, you did your research and you realize that, or you found out the program is going to equip you with this and this, and these things are, and this aligns with your career, your future career as someone who wants to do this and that. I think that makes more sense. That is much more clearer. Do you understand my point?
Yes.
And then how many schools you apply to? You mentioned it, and then you were telling me why you chose one school over the other. And then you said you chose one school because it's located in Ohio, right?
Yes.
And then you said the second reason was because of the class size. These are two reasons that don't make sense to me. You don't choose a school because of class size. Because in the US, most programs they have a small class size. So in your home country with big class sizes, you manage that. How much more US? Why are you suddenly interested in a small class size? Because in your country, the class size are, I mean, you cannot even compare. So I will not buy that. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to
Yeah.
you? Yeah. And Ohio,
Yeah.
you don't choose a school because of a state. You choose a school because of the program. What is the program? What does the program entail? What are you going to learn from the program? That is why you choose a program. You don't choose it because of the state. So those two reasons are bad reasons. When a visa officer hears these two reasons, he or she would think you are not genuinely motivated to come and study the program, because it should always be about the program, not about the external stuff. The external stuff can be a third reason or a fourth reason, but the main reason is always about the program. Okay, so
Okay.
these are my comments. Your finances, you have a good scholarship, which really helps, but you should be able to explain, the fact that the money is from your savings. And I always prefer that students present a sponsor, even if they have the personal funds. They should still present somebody just in case, because you don't know what will happen. You don't know how much you will need eventually and all of that. So even if you have all the money, having a backup, kind of, that, my uncle will take care of whatever, any other expenses that may come up. I feel like that kind of helps, because just so that it's more like you have a backup just in case of anything, because this is an unknown place. You don't know anything that is going to happen, right? So I always don't like people using just their personal funds. I feel like if there's an additional funds elsewhere, it kind of helps. But you can mention your personal savings. If it's more than the deficit, you can mention it that your deficit will be covered by your personal savings. Then you quickly mention that your uncle or whatever is going to take care of any other expenses that may come up in the course of your studies. I feel like that makes more sense. Okay. How did you get a scholarship?
So I submitted an online application which include my CV, SOP, and academic transcript. After which I was invited for an interview where I was asked to talk about my short-term and long-term goals. So after the interview, 2 weeks, and I received the
So what are
scholarship.
what are what are what are those short term and long term goals?
So that's what I talk about, that I will return to my home country to apply whatever I've learned there to raise the
Don't
standard
use
of
the
nursing
word
care.
whatever. Don't say whatever you have learned. No, you have to know what you are going to learn from the program, and you have to mention it, that you are going to learn this, which will help you do this. Does that make sense? Students
Yes,
use whatever. Don't use whatever when you are, no, whatever means you don't even know. You have to. That's why I always tell students you have to do research on the school. So whatever you say is based on what you saw from the school's website. Does that make sense? So don't use the word whatever.
yes.
You did your research, and so you know exactly what you are going to learn from the program. Now you can continue.
Okay, and after that, I have a long-term plan of establishing a care home where I can
I actually
um,
like the long term
apply my
plan.
skills there.
Yeah, I like the long term plan, because it actually relates to what you're coming to study. So for me, I like the long term plan. So yeah. So yeah, I wish you the best. Okay. Do you have any question?
Yes. So um, with my personal funds, you preferred I mention the amount in uh, I've saved.
Yeah, because that's
My
what is going to be used to fund your studies, not your average income. Because when you leave, you are not working again, so you are not making anything, right?
Yes,
So you cannot mention your average income. You have to, if you mention your personal savings, and then the visa officer wants to know more, then the visa officer will ask you, how did you make that money? Then you can explain your average income and how many years you have been working, to make that income and all of that. Does that make sense?
yeah. So my deficit is $4,000.
That's really
What's
small.
the what's
Uh,
the minimum amount I have to get in my bank
No,
statement?
if you have 4,000, it's still fine. You can have 4,000. It doesn't matter. This one is too small, so you know you can just mention. You can have a bank statement that has, just make sure you have at least 4,000. That's all, as personal
Okay.
savings. And like I said, I will always prefer you have somebody who, as a backup. You don't have to mention how much the person is sponsoring you. It's more like the person is more like a backup plan, just in case you need more money or something. But yeah. You don't even have to go
And
for the interview with the person's bank statement. You don't have to. You can just say, once you have to go with your bank statement. But then the third person, because his funds are not necessary, you can just say, and my uncle will also be sponsoring me with, will also, and if anything comes up, or if, uh, if there are some expenses that come up in the course of my studies, my uncle will take care of them. but you don't have to go with a bank statement of your uncle because that doesn't cover your cost of attendance. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So, do you have any question? Any other question?
No, thank you. That's all.
All right. I wish you the best, and you guys go and do wonders. Okay. Um,
Thank you.
Especially those of you with full scholarship, it should be fairly easy for you. Those of you without a good scholarship, you have to try to explain your finances very well, and if you do that, you'll be approved. So I wish you guys the best. All right, now let's try to answer a few questions. Tima shared the live. Yeah, Tima has always been following this live, and that's good. That's good to know. Just Kiss also shared a live. Thank you guys. Laren said my sponsor. Oh man, looks like a lot of messages. I don't know if I can get through this. Wow. Uh, um. Uh, Laren says my sponsor. So before I read, I get a new message. So then I'm not able to read it. It's just um um. Laren says my sponsor has the same surname with me. Will that be an issue? That's actually a good thing if your sponsor shares the same surname with you. Tima Vicente says, let's share the live, guys. Thank you. Baby Michelle says, guys, tap on the screen. Thank you, Michelle. Um, Michelle says, tap. Oh. um, Brianna says, is it true that if you are going for undergraduate degree, you can't be asked your sponsor's income? I'm not sure who said that. Always you have to prove your finances, right? So if you don't have a full scholarship, they will ask you who is going to sponsor you, and you have to know your sponsor's income. Because if somebody is willing to sponsor you, the person should be willing to tell you how much they make and all of that. So Larry says, will the viewer ask for a sponsorship letter for my sponsor? From I mean if your sponsor, I think I should have been clear. Okay, if your sponsor is a company, then they will need the sponsorship letter from the company, because the company will not give you bank statements. But if your sponsor is a family or whatever, then yeah, a bank statement works out. But most of the time, they don't even look at the bank statements. It's about how you explain yourself. Okay. Yasawa says, if I receive a new I-20 because my interview date is beyond my start date, which I-20 do I send to the interview? You just have to make sure the I-20, you go for the interview. So just make sure the start date on the I-20, uh, how do I even say it? The start date on the I-20 makes sense, right? So let's say your interview date, let's say you wanna, you are going for a spring semester, right? If you wanna come to the US if you wanna start in spring, right? Your I-20 must have a date, which is your start date has to be after January. It should be after the program start date. So you cannot go for an interview. You cannot go for um a spring. If you cannot go for an interview for a spring semester if your program start date on the I-20 is before January, then that doesn't make any sense, right? So that's what I mean by it should make sense. I don't know if I answered you correctly. Larry is watching from Nigeria. That's good to know. Um, Brian is watching from Uganda. Oh, nice. Uganda, nice. Yasawa says I received two I-20s. Which one do I send? So send the one that has a later start date. A later start date means reflects the semester you are starting your program. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Same follow the host. Okay, thank you. Brian says, what if my agent applied to one school and accepted? How can I answer? How many schools did you apply? I don't understand why you let an agent do this for you, because if you are not able, if you cannot apply to schools yourself, then you probably are not ready to come here, honestly, because it is it takes a bit of work, but it is something which is doable and you should be able to do it yourself. But yeah, I mean, there are people who go with just one school, and I mean, it's about why did you why did you apply to only one school? What is your reason? It's all about your reasons, right? If you can explain it, it should be fine. Let me say, what if I wasn't accepted to other schools? What should I say? Well, that's something you have to figure out what the exact. I cannot tell you what to say, right? Because it's what are some sponsor recent interview questions for J1, if you don't mind. Well, I'm an F1 student, and I always like to I like to help F1 students. So that's it. And I am not. I know J1 is also about school, like it's exchange program. So basically same questions. Why are you coming for the exchange program and stuff like that? So the questions are kind of similar. I am not an expert in on J1 visa stuff, so I don't wanna say more than I know. Yes, I was since I received a new I-20 prior to my interview dates. Which one should I think it depends. Choosing an I-20, sometimes it depends on what is the new information and what is the program start date. All of these things you have to look at it. Which does the new I-20 come with more money or not? Like all these things. So it's not a person has to compare the two to see the difference and and all of that. So you have to tell me what is the difference. Um can I say I've been volunteering for 10 years in my father's company? That doesn't make sense to me. Gillianville says, can you interview me? Well, the instruction is always simple. Once you join the Telegram page, you might get opportunity to be interviewed. It's not automatic because there are so many people who send in requests. And I mean, today I've interviewed 4 people today, so you can imagine. And school will be resuming very soon, and so I wouldn't even have time for this. I don't know if I will have time, but yeah, probably I'll be doing it once a week or maybe not at all. So um Brian says, I heard these people don't deal with Middle East countries, but I traveled there before. I'm not too sure what you mean. I'm not too sure what. Gillianville says, I'm from Kenya. Can I be interviewed? So the same instruction. Uh, can I say I've never traveled before? I have a NIPA. I cannot tell you to lie, okay? Because lying doesn't really help. Me, I feel like if you create the right conditions, you can be truthful and be approved. I don't. I One thing I don't like is lying. So, I mean that's the thing. I prefer people creating the right conditions for themselves and being honest because I am not a good liar. If I lie, you catch me, you know that I'm lying. So I always like to create the right conditions around me. So yeah, so since I received a new I-20 prior to my interview, do I send both? I'm not too sure that your question is just not straightforward enough. Okay. Your interview date is uh on the class start date. I think you should reach out to the school and find out more from them. They will tell you what to do because yeah. Uh uh Michira says, how are you? I finished my high school last year and feeling my DX1 still. What can I write at OC? What is OC? Occupation? Occupation. Okay. Well, if you just finished high school last year, I don't think it's not a big deal if you are not working. If you are preparing, if you took the time to write an exam or something, that's fine. I don't You are not expected to have a job because it's just last year. Okay, it's not been too long for you to worry about the gaps and all of that. So let's see you two quickly and then we'll call it a day. Okay, yeah, those of you who gave me feedback on whether you can hear or not, yeah, thank you, all of you. Lucy, Roots, Lassie, Sandra, Max Eyes. Yeah, Max Eyes has also been following this live a lot. That's good to know. Richard says he's from Ghana. Nice. Chai, is it Chi? Says applicants on my DX. I put that I'm single. When I'm being asked why I did not make it to the UK and why I chose US. I mean, I have a lot of videos you can always check. Um I have many videos you can check how to answer some other questions. I mean, so many videos. So Karen says, yeah, Karen, yeah, from Nigeria. Nice. Lucy says if she has not crammed all these, I think she's getting approved. But work on the sponsor bits more. Okay, I think Lucy is referring to Harriet. Okay. And then Karen says someone who wants to study gender studies, is it necessary to write cold emails to professors or only graduate coordinators for funding? So there are two reasons why you will send an email. One is if the information that you need is not on the school's website. So maybe you want funding, but the school doesn't. The school's website has not clearly stated that they offer funding, or maybe the requirements are not clear enough. You don't understand the requirements, right? For admission and funding, then you can find out more from the director or the coordinator. Another reason people will send an email is if if the program requires you to get in touch with a professor who will be willing to work with you, then you can send an email to the professor expressing your interest, expressing your background, and your interest in the field or in in his research area and stuff like that, and why you are a good fit for to be like to work with him. So that is another reason, right? um I Ayawa says, is it necessary for for your current job to be in line with the program you are going to offer? Ideally, this is how it should be. If not, then maybe your undergraduate degree can also link to that. But yeah, if you are doing something else, then what is the motivation for you to come and study something else? Like you guys, when you think about it, you realize that yeah, it has to be your job, right? It kind of makes more sense. Ayola says, I'm currently watching from Nigeria. Yeah, your name even tells me you're from Nigeria. um, Chick says, who is sponsoring your deficit? Straight to the point. I'm not too sure which person he was referring to. Stanley says, my deficit is 33,000 and I have 70,000 in my uncle's bank statement. Should I go with the statement or should I add additional bank statements? Well, the question is, why is your uncle sponsoring your studies? Like, it's not easy to present an uncle who is going to spend $33,000 on you. I don't know if you're a bachelor's degree student. If you are, then it's like for 4 years. I mean, I don't know which uncle will do that, but yeah. Ayola says, I would like you to clarify this question. So, if I have a full funding program, do I still need to present a sponsor or show a bank statement? You don't have to. Okay, you don't have to. Full funding will take care of everything. Why? So full funding here means in this context means your cost of attendance is fully covered by the scholarship or the assistantship that you have received, right? In that case, you don't have to, right? If you want, you can go with one, but yeah. Michira says, and I mean, in this case, if you go and even it comes up that the visa officer does not have to ask you if you don't have any deficit, then why would he or she ask you who is covering your studies or deficit on? I don't think that is even a question. But if for some reason something like that comes up, you can just say, you can mention whoever, anybody, an uncle or something, and you don't have to have the bank statement, right? I mean, they even rarely look at the bank statement. So um Michelle says, how are you doing today? I finished high school last year and I think I've answered you already. Iola says, I would like to. Okay. Michelle says, I'm sponsored by a construction company and yet I'm going for a registered nursing. How will I explain? So, this is something you have to ask yourself. Why is the company sponsoring you? Maybe the company has a clinic for the workers or something, or maybe it's trying to set up a clinic for the workers. That's just something that is possible. But I don't like, I don't understand why students ask questions like this because why is the company sponsoring you? Like you yourself, why is the company sponsoring you? I don't know anything about the company. How am I the one supposed to give you an answer? Like, guys, I mean, think about it. Ayola says, please, can you repeat what you said about spring semester and interview? I will appreciate if you can be thoroughly clarified. So what I'm saying is that your I-20 has to reflect um the semester that you are going for. This has to reflect the semester you want to start your program, right? So if you are starting your program in spring and you are going for your interview, let's say before spring, the program start date on I-20 has to be uh after uh after January. It has to be somewhere in the middle of January, right? It has to be before, like the program start date has to reflect the a start date for a spring semester, which is January. If it's fall, the fall program start date is in August, so your I-20 has to reflect that. So I don't know if that's what your question is about, but yeah. So guys, thank you so much for joining. I am very tired right now, so I'll see you tomorrow, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye. Hi, welcome to my first video. My name is Shaibu. The goal of this channel is first to help students get admission and funding into schools abroad. Secondly, to help students get their visas approved. And finally, to help students navigate through life in a foreign country. If any of these interests you, consider subscribing to the channel so that you don't miss any of my future videos. I intend to post 2 long videos every week. I have been living in the US for the past 8 years, helping so many students with their study abroad journey. I have never been denied a visa. In fact, I got the first visa approved in 2016 for my first